Hello and welcome back to video 3 of the How to Market Your Indie Game for Free series. My name is Lewis, as I've said before, and I'm from Neon Bedlam, and we're going to be talking today about social media. Now, social media is it's a scary place. I'm not going to lie, right? It's something that the more I speak to developers, the more developers I speak to who just don't want to do it. Straight up, there's just no questions asked. I just don't want to do social media. The social media section is broken up into two sections, and I was debating how to do this, and I decided to go down primary channels and secondary channels. Now, what I mean by that is this video is all about primary channels. So it's me focusing on channels I think are the most important for you to, if your time or resources are very limited. These are the ones I definitely recommend you invest in. And what I mean by investment is time investment in. Whereas the secondary ones, if you've got a bigger team or you're outsourcing, they're the ones you could maybe push for because they help with traction, but are not as important as your primary channels. So this video, as I said, is going to be talking about the primary channels. Now, one of them technically isn't a social media channel, but it fits in well. So what we're going to be covering today is we're covering Twitter, we're covering Discord, and we're going to be covering email marketing. Now, email marketing, again, not really a social media channel. However, it does link into a lot of your social media stuff, and it has a kind of direct crossover or comparison to Discord, which I'll get onto later in this video. But enough of all that now. Let's just dive straight into it. Twitter. Now, what I should probably get off the bat is this isn't going to be a, hey, this hashtag's trending at the moment, go and follow this hashtag, or go and tweet, about this hashtag, or go follow these bots here, or go follow this here. Or it's not going to be that, because that's all trends and that's all current right now. And I don't want this video to be outdated in 2 weeks' time because trends change or any kind of situations change. This is going to be a core basics of how do you just use Twitter? Like, should you be using Twitter first of all, and how do you use Twitter? And to answer the first one, should you be using Twitter? It's a simple yes. Twitter is without a doubt the biggest free marketing resource you can get your hands on. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. Twitter, it's huge. And if you can only run one social media channel, Twitter is the channel you should run, whether you're promoting a game, whether you're making a page for your studio or development team, and you're going to be promoting your game on that, you should have a Twitter and you should be using the Twitter. Why is it better than everyone else? It's a question I get asked a lot. The main reason is the cross promotion of content. You can get other people who aren't in your community, who aren't following you, to quite easily see your content without having to approach them, without having to reach out to them, without actually doing a lot of hard work. Mainly through the hashtags and obviously how easy it is to share other people's content on the channel as well. But let's kind of break down some stuff with Twitter, because the way I've kind of gone about the Twitter section is I've broken down questions I get asked the most, and I'm going to try and deliver them in informative ways. So as I said, this is the biggest platform for you to promote your game on. And going back to what we covered last week with attention, this is definitely the attention phase. Twitter is where you get the attention. And in most cases, for smaller teams, it's where you will build the most amount of attention. Now, this can start very, very small, and it can build up pretty quickly. In terms of metrics and numbers you should be expecting, there is no number on that, because it's all about your brand and what's good for you. But just one retweet, one comment, one like when you're starting out, that means that one person out there has been affected or is enjoying your content, so that they've chose to share, like it, or click on it, or even follow you guys. So even if you just get one like on your post, it's still, you're doing something right because someone's liking it. Okay, obviously you want to grow and you want to show growth and you want to show that graph going up, like every marketer's dream, right? That graph that always goes up and maybe spikes towards the end, even better. But it takes time. It does take time. So the first thing is, how many times do I post a week on Twitter? That is the most common question I get. People say, I don't do Twitter because I don't have time. And I get that. I understand it. It's not a case of, it's not a 2-minute job. It can be a little bit more lengthy than that, especially when we get into more content about how to really grow on Twitter. Now, I would recommend around 3 to 4 posts a week. That is what I'd roughly recommend. And that's if you're struggling with time. About 3 posts minimum is what I would say. And that's, you're literally talking probably around about maximum 15 minutes a week to do your free posts. Now, as it comes close to launch and you're going to start using assets or visuals on your tweets, then time's obviously going to increase, but there's ways around kind of managing that in your workflow. But overall, just getting tweets out there. Now, when you're starting out, I spoke last week that you might not have tons of content to work with. It doesn't matter. You can still put tweet posts out, okay? And this is the biggest thing as well, is when developers say to me, but how do I grow on Twitter? I'm posting every day, but I'm not getting any followers. And the clue to that, people, comes in social media title. It's about being social. If you're just on the channel just to post and go, so you log on, you post, you disappear, yes, you're going to get some interest, you're going to get some interactions with your posts, but you're not really being social. People don't really know who you are. They know what your content is, but they don't really know who you are or what your game is. You need to be social, especially when you're starting out. This is rule one to building your community. And the best way to do that is go into like the search bar, type in indie game. That'll bring up all the indie game hashtags, your indie dev or game dev, and that'll bring up all the hashtags of posts or tweets that have used that hashtag, and go through. Don't just go spam all comments and all of them saying, this looks great, I like the visuals, I like the lighting. Like, actually interact with the content and interact with the people who have commented on the content, like the content. Share it. Maybe quote the tweet, as in you retweet it and you post your comment on it. Maybe there's a genre that you really like. You really like RTS games, and there's this cartoon RTS game that you found, and you can quote that tweet saying, I've never seen this game before. I'm really excited for it. It's definitely wishlisted. And then maybe a developer says, thank you very much. All of a sudden, you've made a connection. You're being social. So then maybe in a week's time when you post, that developer goes, oh, they're working on a game as well. Okay, I'm going to share their game now. It's about being social. It's about networking and building these bridges that so many people overlook. So many people think it's just about getting killer content on the platform, which, don't get me wrong, that helps. But if you don't have the foundations of being social on the platform, then your content is only going to find a third-party audience, an audience that is going to be there just for the game. You want to start building that first-party audience from the beginning, meaning that people are invested and they're going to be sucked in to that interest phase. So we're going to go from the attention phase into that interest phase we spoke about last week. Now, hashtags are one I see all the time. I see some developers say, I read somewhere that hashtags don't work. I see other developers say, I read somewhere that hashtags do work. What's the truth about hashtags? What's the mystery about hashtags? The short answer is hashtags work. It's as simple as that. Like, there is a caveat to that. Don't over spam. Now, that's not because it doesn't work. That's because it just looks disgusting, in my opinion. And most people say that as well. If you speak to most marketing people, if you speak to most kind of people, promoters, they will say the same. If there's a post out there with 7 or 8 hashtags on it, it's just needy. It's just grabby. It just doesn't feel intuitive. There's too much blue text there. And also, if you're using that many hashtags, your content, the actual amount of text and flavor text and character you can put into that tweet is limited, because all your characters are going on hashtags. So the kind of not the rule of thumb, the key number is around 3 to 4. So 3 to 4 rough hashtags per post. And try to make the hashtags cross over. Now, what I mean by that is indie game, indie dev, game dev all crosses over. Steam, game dev, indie gaming crosses over. If you start kind of going a bit curveball and going down like visual effects, indie game, and football, because you're making a football game, all of a sudden you are reaching wider, but there's less consistency. The reason sticking close together is good is because if people who are looking for indie games, game devs, Steam, indie dev, their chances are going to be seeing the same content. If they keep seeing your content, that's just brand awareness. They're just seeing it over and over again. Even if they're not interacting with it, they're seeing it there. 2 weeks later, they're seeing it again. Another week later, they're seeing it again. And that brand awareness builds up inside people without you actually realizing. It's a little bit like when movies put these trailers out there on, like they promote trailers on social media. 9 times out of 10, we just scroll past them. Okay, we just blitz past it. But then there'll be a time when actually we're locked into an ad on YouTube or on TV or something like that, and we're forced to watch it. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, it's this trailer. I've seen this trailer before. You haven't actually seen it. You've been skipping past it. But the brand awareness has got you in. It's exactly the same by kind of tapping up the resources in a community, indie dev, game dev, and all that with the hashtags, that people can get brand awareness and see your posts more and more and more. And then we're going to go on to, so on the hashtag, actually, before I move on, there's a post you can see on the screen now, but it's going to be linked down below. It's the Sprout Social kind of blog that they've put out, and I definitely recommend reading it. It breaks down hashtags, why you should use them, why you shouldn't, when you shouldn't use them, and the benefits behind them, the benefits, the disadvantages of not using them, and how you can find trending hashtags, how you can find hashtags for your community. It's a really, really good post by Sprout Social. Sprout Social is basically a piece of software you can use to do your scheduling. You don't need it. So if there's anything on there about selling you Sprout Social, you don't need it. It's if you're running 10 social media accounts at once, then maybe think about Sprout Social. But right now, you don't need Sprout Social. So, but they do blog posts, and this is a really good blog post. I definitely recommend you check out. Now we're going on to art assets or visuals on tweets. This is another hotly debated one. Do you put pictures or GIFs or videos in your tweets, or do you just put text and link out? And the short answer is visuals work better. Statistically, visuals get more interaction. This could be for a number of reasons. The main reasons that have been highlighted by other companies or by people are, one, it's more friendly. It's a breakup of the norm. It's not just a wall of text, a blue link, a wall of text, a blue link, a wall of text, a blue link. It also shows variety on your actual profile page. People click on your profile, they've got this asset, they've got this asset, and then they might have a text tweet, and they've got another asset, and they've got a video, and all things like that. And then also, the last one is the obvious one. It takes up more real estate. Most people who are on Twitter are looking at Twitter on their phone. I think it's something like 82% of people on Twitter are looking at on their phone. And that basically means that a post with a visual in there takes up pretty much a full screen to swipe past. So they have to scan. Even if they don't read, they're still scanning your whole post before they're actually going past it. And if it's a video that auto plays and it grabs their attention, bang, they're in. So visuals are definitely important. Now, you don't want to put visuals on every single post. The disadvantage of visuals are, it's been argued that potentially having a visual could take away from having a CTA, which is a link in your post. It could take the attention away from clicking the link because they're too busy looking at the visual, and then they scroll past it and don't even realize there was a link there. That is an argument, but you can definitely mix things up. You can definitely mix up having visuals, not having visuals, but you definitely want some visuals in your tweets, especially when you're building a brand. Now, on the kind of visuals side, there's again another post that you can see on the screen now. This is by Union Metric. And Union Metric are quite a small social media blogger or blog page. And this kind of, again, breaks down visuals. They share some statistics on it, but they mainly share about the benefit, again, of using visuals, not using visuals. And if kind of tapping into Twitter something you're really, really keen on, not only this post, but I also recommend you kind of check out more of Union Metric's posts. But the link to this one you just saw, or about visuals, is down below. And I'm mixing up your tweets in terms of hashtags, no hashtags. Why do I not use hashtags? Why do I use hashtags? Why do I use visuals? Why do I not use visuals? And there are many, many, many arguments or many reasons for this. The main one I'm going to go down, the main one I want to highlight now, is it's about being intimate, actually. So when you're starting out with your posts, you want to be using a lot of hashtags because you want to be building traction as much as possible. And you want to mix up your visuals because you want to be really selling your content. You're actually, the harsh way of seeing it is, on Twitter, you're effectively a salesperson. You're selling your content. Yes, you're building a community, but the whole idea of doing it as a game or even a developer studio is you're actually building a brand. You're selling your content from that attention phase, as we said last week, going into that interest phase. Now, when you put a tweet out that doesn't have hashtags, it comes across a little bit more intimate. It means only people who are following you can see that post. Only people who are directly into your community can see the post. Obviously, when people start liking it, it gets a little bit wider reached. But initially, it comes across as a little bit more intimate. So maybe 6 months, a year down the line, when actually, you built up to 500-600 followers on Twitter. You've got regular people who are commenting. The same faces are popping up when retweets come, when likes come. And they will start appreciating these no hashtag posts, and they will start appreciating these more intimate posts. And this way you can start making kind of in jokes effectively about the game. Now, they might not have even played the game, but they've been invested in your content. You can make that in jokes to kind of bring them in closer, which is going to be huge, really, as you go forwards, because it's about moving, like I said before, from the attention phase to the interest phase. And bringing them in with that intimacy that you can build on Twitter can definitely help when you go on to stuff like Discord and even email marketing, which we'll speak about in a second. Now, last point I want to touch on is actually building your... Sorry, 2 more points I want to touch on. The last point about this before we go on to your profile is links. CTA. CTA stands for call to action. Now, I've seen some developers... The game has just got a Steam page, and we're talking like a release probably is 18 months away, and I see every single post have a CTA, meaning a link to the Steam page, a call to action to the Steam page. That's just bad, okay? Don't do that. Please don't do that, because you're over spamming. You're effectively losing the weight of that link in terms of in 18 months' time when you're linking it, the same people are still going to be seeing that link and that post, or a regurgitation, slight mishmash change like element of that post with that link. Meaning that they're just going to scroll past it. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So when you're first starting out, a rough ratio you want to be working on is 20 to 80 at the very beginning. Meaning 20% of your posts have a CTA. 80% of your posts don't have a CTA. So if you're going to go on 4 posts a week, you're roughly going to say 1 post a week is going to have a CTA to the Steam page or to your website or mobile store page or whatever it is. The other 3 posts are not going to have any CTA. Around the mid-time, so you're talking around about now like you're 6 months, maybe 6 to 9 months away from launch, you can start building this up. You can start building this up to maybe about 50%. So again, 4 posts a week, 2 posts are going to have a CTA, 2 are not going to have a CTA. And then leading into your launch campaign, which is going to be about 12 weeks pre-launch, you want to start ramping up to around about 70% CTAs. Your tweets around this time should ramp up anyway. So you should be ramping up to probably around about 5 to 6 tweets a week as it is anyway. So you're going to be looking at about 4 tweets a week are going to be having a CTA, 2 are not going to be having a CTA. This is not including social interaction with people and all things like that. And then the final thing is your kind of Steam profile. I see so many developers not make mistakes because there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer here. But there's just kind of optimization of your Steam profile. Now, obviously, artwork, key art is entirely up to you. But kind of make it sell. Really make it makes a big difference. That profile picture, the little circle profile picture that people initially see, that is your selling avatar. Make sure if your game has a real cool art style, get it somehow, get it so it's looking clear in that profile. Okay, it's really important. So if people read the tweet and they're like, what is that a skull? That looks really cool. And they're going to click through to it because they want to see more. So really try and get that across there. Now, on your profile, a big thing I see is a lack of links actually. What I see is people put the bio out. We're a dungeon crawling roguelike where you play cards to cast spells. That's fine. Then what you can do is you obviously link your webpage. And so many people just link their webpage, which is it's fine because it's going somewhere. But you want to minimize the clicks as much as possible. The chances are your game's releasing on Steam and probably only Steam at first because that's where 95% of indie games, especially indie developers who aren't working with a publisher, go straight to Steam first. If that's the case, put the Steam store page right there. And even put, or even in the bio, if you want to put your website there, in the bio, you can put a dungeon crawling roguelike where you cast spells with cards, wishlist now, and then the Steam page. And they can still click through to a Steam page. But you want to capture that attention. You want to capture that attention into interest, which is, as we said last week, is those wish lists. Now, they have to click to your website and then scroll down and then click wishlist on Steam and go down and then they have to log into Steam. It's just going to get boring and they're just going to fall out of, just not want to do it. Whereas if you have a Steam page right there and they can go bang, bang, easy. 2 clicks and they can wishlist your game. It's as simple as that. It's literally simple as that. You want to minimize those clicks as much as possible and it can make a big, big difference. So that's pretty much going to cover Twitter. And if there's any questions on Twitter, if anyone wants a real big deep dive in Twitter, let me know in the comments. And it won't be like next week, but I can definitely work on a video kind of really breaking down a lot more of Twitter. But that should kind of wrap up the basics of Twitter for you. Now going on to Discord. Discord moves from, so reference again to the ADA formula. Discord goes from the attention phase, which Twitter's building, and it goes into the interest phase. Because anyone who is joined your Discord is automatically or is invested in your community. They've gone that one step further than just liking a tweet, but now embedded in your community. But the first thing I want to answer is, should you have a Discord? And this is something I get asked all the time, and it's often a thing that developers feel like they have to have. Developers feel like they have to have a Discord to promote their game. And in reality, you don't. Discord is a very taxing platform, and I mean that with all seriousness. It can sap a lot of your working hours out every week. Now, it's all good when it starts small. You start your Discord off, you build up to 20, 30 people. It's fine. You got people in there, you got people chatting, you got people interacting with each other. It seems great. All of a sudden, if you get lucky, or you get a post maybe on a big game website, a streamer picks your game up and shares it somewhere. I've seen it firsthand. A Discord can go from 30 to 1,000 in the space of about a week. Now, all of a sudden, those people are there and they're expecting something. They're expecting interaction. They're expecting updates. They're expecting something because they're now invested in your community. If you're a solo developer, this can be a very daunting prospect, because all of a sudden it's now like, oh my God, I just want to make my game. But I'm spending 3 hours a day on Discord talking to people. Arguments kick off in Discord all the time. I'm trying to calm these people down. I've got no moderators to do it. What do I do? And I'm not kidding. I see this more often than I should on the platform of Discord. Now, Discord is amazing. Discord is great. Discord has an incredible high click-through rate for when your game launches. And it's a great way of building up more intimacy in your community. But you need to ask the question is, can you feasibly manage a Discord as well as Twitter, as well as manage as build your game? If you can't, don't do it. It's as simple as that. And I cannot stress that enough. Okay, I really cannot stress that enough. Twitter is more important than Discord, but Discord is the second, in my opinion, the second most important social media platform. Now, one thing you can do, and this is what I've seen developers do really well, and it's what I try to promote developers do that I work with, on Twitter, you'll start building a community pretty early. And it'll be nice that you'll see, like I said, you'll see the same names popping up. Tap into your community. Community love responsibility, and you can give them responsibility that is very much tailored to what you're happy to give them. Now, what I mean by that is, in Discord, you can make them moderators. You can even give them the privileges of, hey, I've got a really, really early build of my game. Do you want to be a beta tester? And you can invite them in. Only 3 people in the world have played your game. They're going to feel super special. Yes, they're giving feedback. They're now moderating your Discord. These are, you're not sponging them for free services. They're giving back to a community because they're so invested in your product. And trust me, this happens a lot. And I honestly recommend, if you're going to go down the Discord route, start building those bridges early on, because it really, really, really does help. Honestly, it helps so much. And it helps you build up this bond with this community. Obviously, you want to be separate yourself to a certain extent. You're not going to be there to be best buddies with them. But building an attachment to a community like that can be really, really beneficial. It means when your game launches, you know those people are going to be shouting about your game from the rooftop. They've been invested. They've been moderating. They've been beta testing. They've been doing all sorts of stuff for your game, and they're very, very much invested in your game. And I've seen this put to use very, very well on many occasions. I have seen it go south sometimes, and I'm not going to lie, when people are falling out or stuff, or people feel like other people have got responsibilities over them. We know what humans are like, but 9 times out of 10, it goes very well as long as it's managed well. And it's a nice way of you kind of stepping back from Discord and letting people not do your job for you, but they can manage Discord for you, and you can be there as the kind of overseeing boss that needs to make decisions. But most of the time, it can be moderated on a bit more of a personal level within your community. Now, this is, as I said earlier, Discord has an incredibly high click-through rate from when your game launches. When your game launches and you put a tweet out about it saying, hey, the game's out now, go and buy it on Steam, you're probably looking at like between a 2 and 5% click-through rate on that to actual purchase. Probably even lower. You're probably looking around 2% maximum on that. On Discord, you're looking more around 20%. Like, it's a big, big increase. Nearly 10 times more traction coming through Discord as it is coming through Twitter. But obviously the responsibility then is to build up. And then going on to email marketing. So why email marketing when I've got Discord? And that is the big thing. I've seen many developers run both email marketing and Discord. And I know email marketing isn't strictly social media. It kind of falls into this. the best way to kind of break it down in layman's terms is Discord is effectively the new version of email marketing. Email marketing used to be the big kind of push for marketing companies. You go back, people didn't want to, or people didn't know what Discord was, or people didn't want to sign up to another service, but they were happy to have emails. And people would give their emails up or sign up to these lists because they were happy to be updated about the game. It's now 2021. People don't like sharing their emails. It's kind of flipped on its head. And with that now comes, it's actually a lot harder to get people to sign up to your email address. A lot harder than it is to get people to actually join your Discord. And they can be run pretty much the same. Both of them are going to want monthly content, or regular content, I should say, to keep your community fed, to keep them kind of updated and interested with your content. And a great way of doing that is dev blogs. These can be as short or as long as you want, and they can be as boring in your terms as you want, or as exciting in your terms as you want. Now, what I mean by that is you might go, I'm just going to be writing about how I've added one visual effect into the game. Believe it or not, your community will be excited and interested by that. And you can really build on that. So you can put out your dev blog in your Discord, create a dev blog channel, stick it in your Discord, or you can just add it out, put it out in your email marketing. It's entirely up to you. If you're a solo developer or a small team, I don't recommend running both, if I'm being completely honest, because it does take time, and then you need to be running something like MailChimp in the back end, and then you've got to be creating a landing page, which can be done through MailChimp, but you're managing another resource as well as putting your content somewhere else, and it's just extra responsibilities that you need to be thinking of each month. And I know it's a case of, in marketing terms, the more places I can be, the better. Sometimes that isn't the case. Like quantity over quality. Think about it in a development term. It's not about how big the game is. Hey, I've got 100 hours of very mediocre gameplay. When people just want 8 hours of very tight, well-designed gameplay. It's exactly the same on marketing or social media. Having a case of, I've got 20 really average posts out on across all platforms this week is nowhere near as good as I've got 5 very good, well thought out posts out on Twitter, or 4 out on Twitter and 1 in Discord this week as well. That's going to be a lot better because quality is always going to trounce over the quantity side there as well. And that's kind of going to wrap it up. It's a bit blasé in terms of I haven't really gone into real tight detail, but I don't want to go into real tight detail because, like I said, I'll be going talking about trends, and trends die and change and all that on a very regular basis. I wanted to break down the questions I asked, and the main ones of them are about Twitter, about Discord, and about email marketing. And hopefully this has helped you out on this. Now, do let me know if there's... Discord is one I'll definitely be doing on later down the line. A kind of how to really set up your Discord, how to interact your Discord, how to grow your Discord, how to manage your Discord. That's something I'll be doing a lot later down the line, but it's not for now. But these are definitely the channels that carry the most traction for you from attention and interest perspectives in terms of the ADA formula we looked at last week. Twitter is a must, in my opinion. If you're going to be making a game and you want to be getting some attraction for your game, Twitter is a must. And as I said last week, you can start Twitter as early as you like. Just start getting stuff out there and start building that community, start building that base up. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. It's been a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I feel like we've gone through quite a lot of information, and I hope you found it helpful. But anyway, have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you guys are. Stay safe, and I'll see you for the next video, which we're going to be talking about secondary social media platforms. Until then, take care and goodbye.